Boys, I'm just tackling up down here. You can see I haven't even really tackled up at all. I've got one rod out there, and I just looked and I thought, I'm pretty sure, just watch this left-hand rod. I've only just thrown that spin out a minute. I'm pretty sure there's a bite on this left-hand one. I've got a slack line. I think I'm going to have to bring it in. Let's just tighten up on it. Maybe it's me. I mean, I have got no grip leads on. I just got straight bombs. Whether it's the current and the wind blowing it, no. Just watch that. This left-hand one here, definitely had a bite on it then. Now, whether there's a schoolie bass, I've got to get the head cam on, people, no question. I'm still in shock, actually. No, not from the bite. The cost of the worms. £0.5. I thought, oh, that must be about £6 or £7 that must cost at least now. £11 for £0.5. So it's £22 a pound. I said, how much are lugworm? Because lugworm's another good worm bait. Same price, £22. Can you imagine going in a match and you need like a pound of each or something? It's £40 worth of bait. I'm about an hour. Let's wind down and see if we got anything. Feels like nothing. I reckon it might be small bass. There was definitely a bite on this rod, people, definitely. Unless there's a little diddy pot fish on there. I don't know, and this is the new reel I'm trying. Hopefully, it just casts miles with it, to be honest. I'll just give it a little gentle lob out first, and then round the line back. Oh no, there's a kick, Whoa, let me keep going. This must be tiny. This must be a pouting or something, but listen, I'll settle for it. Oh, there's a fish there, there's a fish. OMG, first cast, first rod. I'm on an absolute power pole. What is that, a bream? Oh my God. It is. Oh, check this out, people. It's only a schoolie bass. Look at this, just nicked there. Just nicked there. Check that one out. Look, he is hanging by a tiny piece of worm. Wow. Bass first cast. That's cool. Let's get him back. Don't drop him in the gorse bushes. A bass with spines dropped into a bed of gorse bushes is not good. There he is. Look, small schoolie bass. I'll settle for it every time. Brilliant. First cast, I'm all keyed up now. The first problem I've got is I've bought all the wrong rigs. I've bought my big fish rigs. I've got one 2-hook sort of flapper rig here. You see bead, crimp, swivel. And this is the rig I copied, but with big hooks that I've had so much success with, but it had down the bottom another hook longer that overlapped. So that's the rig I got. I got a tiny, what's that, about a 2-ounce bomb by the look of it, that I'm going to throw out. And what I've done with my bigger rigs, I've just cut off, because it's only a piece of mono and hook, I've cut off my big hooks here, and I've put on these B983 size 4 freshwater hooks, but they are barbed, so the worms might come off there. I might lose a fish on those. Baiting, this one is a sort of about a 1/0 hook, which would be standard for flounders. I'm going for small ones because those other hooks I've got, the freshwater ones, are very sharp, and I'm hoping that a fish, a bass or flounder, might just hook itself against them. You know, pull of the lead. I don't have a huge amount of worms, well, you wouldn't, would you, for 11 pounds? 11 crispy folding notes gone in a flash. Got to be done though. There we are, it's quite a big bait. Now this one, I'm going to wang out up that way a bit, because I did have a look on Google Earth about this, and just on this curve here it seemed a little bit deeper over there. Who knows? I don't live here, so I don't know. I'm going to go down here and whiz this one out. The thing is, if you cast too hard, I want to reach a sort of main channel. If you cast too hard, you're going to blast the worms off. So it's just a question of giving that a good whip, and I just stop it slightly before it hits the water so it doesn't bury in the mud if it's shallow. I think there's a sort of mud bar that comes out here by the colour in the water, very shallow there, so I've got to go a good 70-80 yards, I feel. And of course, since I have that fish, I've now got my other baits out, I've got no bites. This concerns me because it could be crab central. I'm going to rotate these over. Wouldn't surprise me if they get stripped by the crabs here. If they do, let's move that in there, that in there. If they do, they they fish a sort of pop up here. Little white ball. I think I've got some in there, like a polyball thing. And that actually lifts the bait off the seabed. I might have to have a quick sandwich. I might have to have a sandwich and just check that out. It's a huge, as you can see, great big dike here, loads of walkers, loads of bird watchers. And it is yachting centre marina over there. Apparently this walk goes on for 5 miles, they tell me. Flounder would be nice. I'll tell you what, I'm settling for a sandwich first. Basically before the dogs come along and eat it all. I don't think I'm going to get this in here. Well, no nibbles. I just got the feeling. Sometimes you see crab bites and they're just tapping away very small, like this. He's chewing away. There's one maybe on that right hand rod there. It's not a fish bite, I think it's crabs. So because I'm fishing on mud here, I don't have a problem just moving that rod top a bit. Just 1 or 2 winds, it bumps the lead away from the crab. Now they probably smell it and come back to it, but it might just leave it in a clear patch and then a fish can grab it. That's my theory. And of course it doesn't hurt it, because things like flatfish, plaice, flounders, stabs, they're definitely attracted to a little bit of movement. Now, what I'm going to do is bring in that other rod, as I say, because I've got the feeling it's crabs, just got the feeling. I'll dig around in here somewhere and I'll show you. This is a luxury one compared with my normal old tackle box. Oh, there we go. Right, there's, in fact, there's 2 or 3, no, there's 2 types here. I'll show them to you. The wrist support is the wrist support. It's just everything falling to pieces when you get old. These, if you can see these are like just a cork ball which raise it off the seabed, and that's sort of white. I call it a poly ball. I don't know what they are, plastic. And they, you know, just go to the base of the hook. I've got a feeling I'm going to chuck a couple of white ones out. Now this is a rod I had that fish on first. I'm pretty sure there's nothing on there, and I don't think there's going to be any bait on here. That's my honest opinion. I think I'm going to bring this in and be very unhappy that a portion of my 11 pounds worth of bait has been eaten. Just have that feeling. If it is, I'm going to go on the cork balls, the little poly balls, pop-ups to get it away from the crabs. We'll find out in a minute. I've got 2 hooks on and one stripped, and one's got a worm, and I don't mind. But if they're both stripped, I can see one worm still okay there. Maybe I should fish. There's the rig, guys, just a plain 4-ounce bomb on this. That one's been stripped by crabs, that one, top one's been stripped by crabs, the middle one's okay. That's why I fish multiple hooks, because that way at least something might take. Let's get those poly balls on the line now. Otherwise the crabs are just eating their way through my bait at great expense. Right, that's the rig I've got now. There's the lead. There's the poly ball, if you can see that with a small ragworm. That's a plain ragworm. And then I've got the cork sort of poly ball there. And what I've done, because this theoretically should slide up the line like this and stay up there, but I've whipped it with some of this elasticated thread either side. Look, I've no idea if that's how you do it, that's how I've done it. We're going to whiz it out, bring all the others in, and I might put a couple of other white poly balls on those rigs as well. Of course, doing this way, I'm losing my chance of getting a flounder, but I might get something else, you never know. Because I'm off the bed. Yeah, there's nothing on here at all. This reel has been bulletproof. This has been a good one. I don't think they use it distance cast. I've got a feeling there's no worms on here at all. It's going to make me so cross and angry. Sitting there with bare hooks. What a waste of time. And I've got, yes sirree, totally bare hooks, stripped beyond belief. I'm sitting out there with bare hooks and wondering why I'm not getting bites. There you go, people, look. 2 rigs in, half a worm, bare hook, half a worm, half a worm. I'm going to send this one out here now, I think. Yeah, it is indeed very, very shallow out there. So I'm not going to get a huge amount of fishing time in because the tide's then going to go out. I am about half an hour before high water, and the guy in the tackle shop said hang on because you do get fish on the ebb, but obviously once it goes out it gets shallower, shallower, shallower. You lose the chance of fish. I'm going to get another poly ball on one of these rigs, I think. Probably this one. All fishing is about experimentation all the time, changing, adapting, learning different rigs, trying different rigs. That's why I never mind fishing the extra rod, because you can put something different on it, can't you, rather than just sit there catching nothing thinking, have I got it, am I doing the right thing, should I be doing this, should I be doing that? Once you get that wrong mindset, it's very hard to come back with confidence. You need a fish for confidence. See, I started with that first fish and now I've lost my confidence again. I've also lost my bait thread, for goodness sake. So I'm still going to whip this poly ball just to stop it going up and down too far. We shall find out, shan't we, in a few hours. I think these are fairly standard using poly balls in foreign countries. Certainly in the States they use them. That's better, it's just got a bit of spring to it. Worm on the hook. Well, I'm going to plough through these. I've gone for a whole worm on the poly ball and I'm trying to get away with half worms. Goodness me, these worms aren't going to last me very long. Man. Going down to half worms, which I don't like using unless there's lots of fish. Let's get this one out. Well, I've got one rod to go, but I don't understand get that bass straight away. And I had other bites as well. They're nothing. They're out there about 40 odd yards. There's a coloured water on that side and there's sort of clear water this side. There's a definite current edge there. That's most bizarre. I think he did tell me about it. It comes in and goes out and comes in, or something happens. Whether the fish will come at that tide, I don't know. You know, is that a tidal there? I don't know. Or is that because it is getting 15 minutes allegedly from the top of the tide? Who knows? But there's definitely a push of water coming in there now. No bites, no bites. Come on boys, let's have some nibbles. They've got a big match here tomorrow. I wonder what that's going to fish like. The crabs will have such a feast. Something worth mentioning, I feel, with the worms in the winter, when they go this sort of colour, they're very, very milky. In fact, they say they're spawning. A lot of people say they shouldn't be digging them or dragging them, collecting them this time of year. See, there's sort of different colour to the tail. It's very, very soft. They break up as well. So it's nice to have a nice, that's a better one, a sort of fresh, sort of red to it really. But when they go that different colour, I'm going to call it, can you see it, sort of yellowy? If I get one on the hook, I'll show you. They go sort of green, yellowy green when the goo comes out of them. And they're not going to last me too long, boys, are they? Oh dear, I need another fish badly. Also, I feel maybe it's slack tide now. That was a push of water that came in. I think the fish are going to feed better when there's a pull of water, because this is just laying there. The smell on the bait is just going in a small circle. It's not going anywhere, and I think the crabs will probably home in on it. This is possibly at slack water where that poly ball will rise up in the water and just maybe suspend a worm somewhere where a schoolie bass or something might just grab hold of it. It is a grey, cold, grizzly winter's day, but listen, it's sort of bearable, guys. It is sort of bearable. Up here exposed like this, you can see it's the Isle of Wight over there. Loads of people out walking. That wind cuts through you when it gets really cold, but at the moment it's not too bad, not too bad at all. Today's supposed to be slightly mild, about 2 or 3 degrees what it should be, and I'll settle for that one. I'm going to have to check that left-hand rod because I had a nibble that came to nothing. Well, I've actually, I guess it must be right on high water now, so I've sat down and just looking at the rods, because I've got two rods like that, I can see one against the other. If I get my other camera, you might just be able to see the very, very slight nods on the rod top. I've got it on this right hand rod here as well. Almost imperceptible. It would look like a piece of weed on the line, you know, out there. They're just blowing in the ripples, but it's not. It's actually crabs chewing on the bait. I'll see if I can show it to you anyway, but you can just see that very, very slight motion on the softer rods, because one's a very stiff rod. One throws 6 ounces, the other throws 3 ounces, so two totally different blanks, but the soft blank is the one that's registering the bites more. Well, they're not bites, they're crabs stripping the bait. So I'm tempted just to leave everything as it is, to be honest, and not waste any more ragworm on the crabs. I might wait until the tide picks up a bit. There's a lot of wildlife photographers around here, so there's obviously some unusual winter migrant birds. Transients, do they call them, when they're travelling through? Lots of people walking all along. Apparently it goes 5 miles, this wall, all the way. I guess it's a big support wall, I don't know. Protecting possibly over there Lymington Harbour or Marina or whatever's over there. I know Lymington's over there somewhere. Closely followed by the New Forest. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think I missed him. I saw it out the corner of my eye, guys. Missed it. That was a bass. Bang. That's annoying. You just saw it out the corner of my eye. Really good bang. Tempted to leave it. Now if it's a flounder, I would have left it, but you've got no way to know when the two are mixed over, the two species cross over. A flounder you leave to bite for a little bit. The bass is going to bite, bang, and psh, gone. You've missed him, you know. Oh well, it's a bite. Maybe I do chuck a fresh worm out. Well, I'm going to put a bigger bait on this, but I will, while I'm down here, show you how I knew these worms weren't any good. You remember I said they weren't any good to start with? If you look, they're absolutely lifeless, and I bought those this morning, look. They're barely moving. This one is, for instance, I'll put it on the hook because I'm getting through the bait now, and you'll see them go light like this. It's just, they shouldn't really be used as bait, you know. I think they should be left. Right, now look at this one. Look, it just comes out green. Green juice. Now they say that's because they're spawning. Look, I don't know. It's just fish bait. I'm just trying to give you guys a few tips. It's a job to know when it's in the tackle shop, you see them and you haven't got any bait at all. You obviously want some bait. I'm trying slightly bigger ones, you know, bigger baits now. I've had one other bite. I'll save those for one big last couple of casts. But at the moment, boys, it's looking pretty grim. That's a nice big bait. I've tried wanging it as far as I can now because the worms do come off because they're soft. As you can see there. One on the pop-up, one great big one there. Fucking hell. Let's try and get this one out without breaking, hopefully. There's bits fly off. I'll try a bit closer in. Can only try. Well, I've moved too late, guys. I just looked down, I was way up there. I looked down here and I could see that ripple just down over there, and I thought, why is that ripple there? It's obviously shallow, but it means the current's pulling now. And I thought, well, I'll go to the point here. There's far more weed growing there than there is up here. All little pointers, so it must be deeper in here. And so it's proved. And I've chucked my rods out here. And while setting up, I've had an absolutely hammering bite and I've missed it. It's definitely a decent sized bass. So not a great session. I've got 2 worms left, so I'm pretty well stuffed. Do you know, I don't know why I didn't come to this corner before, because there's just a secondary channel over here which must pour out this way and this way, so it's all got to come past the front here. And there's the Solent, the sort of, I'm going to call it the open ocean out there. Really annoying, because this would be a good spot. I can see the bubbles going past now, and I can actually see it's dried out already since I've moved my gear up here. So I'm like an hour and a half, 2 hours too late. But I had an absolutely bang, 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 bang. It was going, time I got to it, missed it. Definitely would have been a bass, but still. I've got 2 worms left, so I'm pretty well stuffed. And it will be home time with another failure tucked into the belt. 1 small bass, and that's it. There's only one thing to do. I think I've got to go into that tackle shack, fire up the old G stove and have a really nice hot dog. I've got a craving for hot dog. Ooh, fried onions, those sweet onions, ketchup, mustard, warmth. Regroup and then think, where can I go to try and catch something? Because that's what it boils down to. Well, there you go. Really nice little fish. There's the cork pop up. I was filming with a big camera, I just saw the rod go out my corner of my eye. He's going to go back, he's going to spike me actually before he goes in. He is angry. I've got loads of people coming along here now, so I'm going to get him back quick. There you go. Lovely looking fish, just get it back. From a flounder fishing session to a bass fishing, well, learning curve, I'm going to say, because I've moved. Let me show you where I moved from. Down by that guy in the yellow jacket, say 200 yards or so. I moved 200 yards. There's the yellow boy over there. This has dropped away. I showed it to you just now, and look how fast it's dropped away. And that's only through me watching that change in the ripple, which is still sort of here. So there's a hell of a pull past this point. I've come 200 yards. From up there to here, it's a totally different animal. This looks really, really fishy across here. Whether it's coming from out there, which I can see a ripple, I sat looking at the ripple for ages thinking, God, I wish I could cast 350 yards because it looks quite a bit of current over there, and I do like the current. And here, although I'm probably out of bait now, I'm just watching and fishing on, letting the leads bump around and seeing where it goes to in this state of tide. I'm 5 minutes from winding in. I've lost another bass on the left-hand rod as well. Well, do you know what? I often wonder what the anglers of yesteryear would say when they walk into a tackle shop in the UK and they see some of the baits on offer. Gone are the days when you had boiled potato, worms, maggots. Now it is an absolute mishmash of stuff I don't even know the names of. Now, one of the things they do, instead of maggots, you can get these little pellety things. I've used them about once, maybe twice. I don't think I've caught anything. In fairness, I didn't give a good go. I didn't give a good judgment, you know. But I've got some here. Just look at these. It's like trying to do a Rubik cube blindfold. Got it. So if the fishery does allow it, there are some pellets. Now, I have caught on these before. These ones work. They're just called pellet O's, halibut flavoured, 8mm, a little bit bigger. Now they come with a hole drilled there. So you can, if you have what we call a hair rig, which is a hook with a little link of line through it, you can push the hair through there, put a stop on the back, and just use that as a hair rig pellet. That, I can tell you, does catch. But what I find strange is, this is, oh, it went back. I couldn't do that twice if I tried. It went in the pot. These are hard, so they won't dissolve in the water. But I'm kind of curious over all these different, and there's loads out there, boys, there's loads out there. Flavours, colours, whatever they do. Let's try them, give it a go. I've got not very long, a couple of hours or so. And then when I come back tomorrow, I'm going to repoint all the slab outside, build a complete patio fence, or finish building it, and other various jobs to ensure the tackle shack gets better with each film we do in here. Let's get down the fishery, see what we can catch. It's got a round one there, as you can see, and a cylinder one. Excuse my yuck fingers. I guess I'm going to have to put them on as a banded pellet. So bear with me while I get this done. So using one of the expanders, I put the I can't get this stuff off my fingers. I put the band over. Tricky doing it filming like this. Expand it. I'm going to put on the cylinder one. Couldn't do it if you wanted to, Graeme. I put my little band over. I expand it like this. I'm going to have to use a cylinder one because that's the shape it's going to take a band. Pop it off, and then hopefully, he says, if I can ever see the hook. This is, I think, a size 16 carp hook, barbless to 2 pounds. I'm going underneath the band now. You see that like that? There. I've got a bit more faith in this, but they say this amino one is good. We will find out. Now, check that drag. Wow, that's on carp drag. A little bit more shot on that flow to take it down. I've got both baits out. Now, you could say it's not really a fair competition there, Graeme, because you could have a bait on there and there's no fish there. It's not fair. So I'm going to give this like 10 minutes, have a bit of lunch. Yeah, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, have a bit of lunch, give it 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'm going to go to maggots. So if maggots aren't catching, then I know there is no fish there. But if I can establish that the fish are in there feeding first, then it's worth me trying these different baits. So I'm going to give it 10 or 15 minutes, see if I get any bites there, and then I'm going to go to maggots to establish if the fish are there. If I get a bite or two on maggots, then I'm going back and try all these different baits. I do not look forward to Mr. Yum Yum. Phew. Well, absolutely, I'm not surprised. One bite on either of those two baits. Floats haven't even moved. So I think I'm going to have to change over. We're going to give it a try, just to put some maggots out there and establish if anything has yet moved over the bait at all. I've had one cast, guys. It lasted about 50 seconds, not even a minute. And the float started dithering about. That's a double red maggot. I'm going to try again. So that was absolutely instantaneous. So there are fish in the swim. I'm going to try this again with double reds. Now, I've also thrown in some of these Mr. Yum Yums, because I figure that's there to be used really basically for hook bait, if that makes sense. Well, listen, let me show you. Get this out in position. Got to get it just right within 2 feet. Right. If that little tub there is nearly 5 pounds, you're hardly going to have A, enough to throw in, and B, you certainly won't have enough money to get a bucket full of these to throw in. So I guess they're for hook bait only. I can't even get them to stay on the hook, so I am putting them in so they do know they're in there. Does that make sense? Oh, proof of the pudding, guys. Proof of the pudding. Right, fish in the swim. There you go. Nice roach. So there are fish in. Oh, I've got a bunch of maggots on the left here, and I'm getting bites on that. That was absolutely ridiculous. You see the roach is straight on it. So there are fish in the swim. This is too deep. I must be Goodness me, 6 feet just out there. My rod length out, and I've got at least, I'm going to say 6 feet. I'm going to try this again. Alright, just to confirm it, people. There we go. A small perch, as you do get small perch, and some very big ones here as well. Swallowed, as they do, so keep your disgorger handy. So there are definitely fish down there, people. I've seen that float dipping on the inside there. There we go. That's a bunch of maggots there. And another small perch. So it's a bunch of red maggots. Back you go. 2 maggots on a small hook and a bunch of maggots on a big hook. I'm going to chuck that out while I sort the baits out. So you can actually see there are fish in the swim. That's roach and small perch. So we had nothing on that, on the match mint. If we could ever get this red thing open, I can see it going everywhere. I'll be quite happy to try them. I've been fighting to open the unknown one there, and I can see already. I cast to the right and the float's dragged. The other side's probably another perch on there. There you go. Small perch on the red maggots. Time to move. So we've established the small ones. See, now these are soft ones as well. Maybe they're a bit better than the yum-yums. Now these are actually I can hook, so I'm going to put 2 on a size 12. And I'm sure if it was like blazing summer, you'd catch fish. Now they do cast. I'm going to put them in the swim. This might get rid of the small roach. And then I'll try the same bait on both. I've got some thrown in there. I'm going to throw some more in because I won't be taking these things back if I don't catch any fish on them. There we go. If I don't get anything on these 2 baits, I'm going to probably pair them actually now. So I've got baits of the same size and quantity on this right hand one and the left hand one. I've had bites on both, roach and perch on the right hand side, perch on the left hand side. We'll just see what comes. The floats are at the moment with these on absolutely motionless, and these do smell a bit fishy. In fact, they can have a few more. I don't see in my mind, I may be wrong, I don't see the point in paying £5 for a tub of this stuff, right? Or £3 for a pint of maggots. I mean, I'm talking 2019 prices here, winter 2019. And there's loads more maggots in there than there. So you've got this for say £5, or a load of these live ones, which they're patently, obviously they're eating, for £3. It's just, is it the volume of these going in? In other words, if I had that many of these, whatever, would I catch? I don't know. But the fish are there. You can't dispute the fish are there. If I put maggots on, I will catch. It is. It's a funny old game, this fishing, but it's worth an experiment. I'll try 5 minutes of these, which I'm absolutely motionless bites at the moment. If I don't catch anything on those, I'll try the minis, the match minis, because that's the one I was told was very good for bream. I don't sort of dispute that they've got a slightly sweeter smell. But all of them, there's no directions. You can imagine you're a big beginner, and let's say they're soft ones, which those other ones are. I can't make them stay on the hook. I have to make a little paste off them, just lower them in virtually. All these hard ones, it doesn't tell you how to fish them, does it? Match minis, it just tells you match minis. How does a beginner fish those? I think I'm going to go to the head cam, because that way at least I've got both my hands free. I mean, I'm just looking at motionless floats. It's sort of soul destroying because I desperately want to go back to the maggots. If I stand up, you might... I haven't got the right camera, obviously. It's got head cam. If you're right to see, I'm not even a rod length out down there. And over here to the side of the lilies, very, very thin float. Oh, one bite. I just saw it pop up. It's got little increments, I'll show you, like this. So you shot the float to there, but it can come to here. So when you get this, it's a fish picking a bait off the bottom and moving the weight I've got down there, little number 8 or something. So it comes up like that. Something has picked it up. That's the first time I've seen a bite on that. We'll give it a little bit longer in case it develops. See, now when we go sea fishing, we have what we call combo baits. That's 2 baits. You can put 2 baits on one hook, bind them together. So you've got the best of both worlds. So you can have squid and mackerel, which is my latest crave, super duper bait. You can have ragworm and squid, lugworm and mackerel. You can have what you want. And combo baits is something you don't sort of see it used a lot, coarse fishing, freshwater fishing in the UK, and they should do it more. I mean, one I would have thought would have been good would be worms and maggots. Now, I've used to use that years ago for tench, really good. A brandling on the hook and tip it with 2 red maggots. Swim feeder full of either red maggots and chopped worm, ground bait. That was always my go-to bait, really, and bream as well, double it. Worm on the hook and tip it with 2 red maggots. That was what I used to use, and I caught a lot of fish on it. I'm going to have one more cast in a minute with these, and then I think I'm going to change over. Do you know what? I'm tempted. You guys have seen how it works. I'm wondering if I should just go back to maggots on each, just to show you how fast it works. They do not like the unknown brown ones. Okie doke. Switched over, bunch of maggots. This is in real time, people. In the swim. Chucked a bit more bait out. 2 maggots. Bait's right out there. I'm right in the swim. Right. Both those baits are out. Let's see if we... Look, straight away. Right hand float. Look. That's on the drop. Boys, that's on the drop. I'm talking... Will you tell me that was real time? I'm going to bump that one. See if they'll take it again. I want to say 10 seconds. They might have had the bait off. Let's check it. Yes, they've had one of the maggots off. Try again. This is how fast the maggots work compared with those other baits. So at the moment, I'm asking myself, why would I possibly want to use the other baits? I can't see a situation that's better than maggots. Maybe I'll put them on the hook wrong or something bizarre, but now watch that right hand float. Gone. Popped up. They're taking that on the drop, that maggot there on the drop. What it is, I know that by the float sitting too far up. Left hand rod, nothing. But that's just settled down a different swim. More likely to get bites on that swim because I'm closer to the lilies, so they've got a bit more feature there, a bit more shelter. Any small fish, roach and stuff will be happier around there, whereas they might not out in the open here. Well, got a decent something rather on the maggots there, boys. And here it comes. Ah, yes, that's more like it. Look at the size of this roach. That should have been a netter, really, Graeme. That one there is a beauty. Fine winter condition roach. And you can see, double maggots. I'm going to change, so we know the roach are in the swim. I'm going to change back to one of these other baits and we'll give that a go. So I'm going to go for one of these little red things. Because to be honest, let me put it on the hook first. I can barely get it on. In fact, I can't get it on. They're too soft to band. There, right, so it's on. Can you see that, people? It is on. Let's get it in the swim, because that's the only one I've really got any faith in for catching. So I can't cast it as hard as maggots. But I would think that might have an outside chance of a bite, that one. The soft yum-yums other than a carp in the summer, I don't think I've got much faith in. Right, so time for another change, people. I've tried these ones. I've tried the yum yums, which is just mush. They're tiny and they just do rabbit droppings. Yucky. I can't really fish with those, to be honest. These ones are good. They're hard ones. These are they're soft, as rubbery soft, not as soft as the other ones. I want my hands on this. And these red ones are quite firm. Will break apart, look, with my nail. But what can I say? Got nothing on them. And of course I've got the pellet O ones, which I can band on there. I feel they're a bit big for this test anyway, for just roach and perch and stuff like that, just getting bites. Carp, definitely. Barbel, 100%, 8mm pellets like that. So let's change and try these. I've given these a good go, and it's just a no-go. It's a no-go. It's a no-go. So let's make a change again. Right, there's one single, whatever that yucky one is, buried in there. Okay, let's get, that's right plumb in the swim where I'm getting the roach. Right there, you can see I'm in exactly the same spot. On the larger hook size, I've managed to get, after great deliberation, one. On the left hand rod, I've also got one on one pellety thing on there. I'm just gently lobbing out. It's ever so easy to cast them off. They're both in the swim. I've chucked loose ones in. I'll do it to camera. I'm going to chuck some more of these loose ones in, because no point taking them over, I'm not catching fish on them. Very expensive loose feed for sure. Going to go right up and get them totally over the floats. Look at that. Totally. Let's see, and give that a 15-minute spell. See if anything comes on those. We're ploughing our way through it. If you want my gut feeling is, I might get one fish, I might get two fish on those, or one of these. Basically, it's these kiddies that are doing the damage. That's what they want. Now, is it because they are live, they are meat? You can't say it's because there's smell coming off them, can you? Because all those down there have really good smells. But is that what they want? They perhaps they don't want smell, perhaps they want meat. Chuck plenty in there, boys. Nothing. Dead, dead, dead. Mind you, I haven't seen much caught. I'll just show you the lake when I'm standing up. Nice big lake here at Watmore, and very, very deep, even out there. So there's no need to go cast into the middle of beyond. A lot of the fish coming around the edges. Roach, perch, and now some very big perch coming through the system, some big carp, and obviously a lot of ordinary carp as well. Easy access, car parks, hard standing swims, toilets on site. What more could you want? A few more fish would be nice if I could get some more bites. Look, nothing. I know if I put maggots on I'm going to get bites. I don't really sort of understand it. In fact, talking of feed, you don't need to know what I vote, do you? Let's have this. Now, sea fishing, this is a no-no. It's definitely a no-no out in a boat. But coarse fishing, I don't think it matters, because I've already caught some fish, haven't I? Good carp bait as well. Cutting the segments like that on a big size 2 carp hook. Standard old school fishing in the margins down there. No buzzers, instant strike, a piece of banana. Couldn't go wrong. It's just, I can't tell you. Obviously there's situations where these baits work, but this ain't one of them. I can do no more than put maggots on, catch fish, get bites and catch fish. Change immediately to these baits, nothing happens, and I have thrown these baits in loose. I think the yum yum ones are going in big time. I think the whole packet of these, they're just like, look, they just go like squish, they're just squishy. No bites on these, no bites on those. The last one, which I did think I would catch on, I'm going to give it a go, and then I'm going to the maggots. I'm not going to bother with the pellets because I'd have to wait longer in the cold weather. And those do work. Take my word for it, these do work, especially in the summer. Very good bait. Carp in conjunction with a feeder and or barbel in a river. Very, very good. But these little expensive soft squishy things, well, all I can say, guys, look, not for me. Old school, yes please. More of those please, nurse. Right, so on to the final one, which is the banded match mini, which I tried earlier on and had nothing on. So I'm going to try it. I've got a side hook single on the left hand rod, which is just drifted out of position. And that's banded. I'm going to cast this one back in position again. Let's get that right over the swim so there's no disputing it. I'm not fishing it in the swim. I'm even going to chuck some in loose, and I imagine they're hook bait, not a throwing in bait. You can't say that they're not around the float. They are there. Let's see one last final throw of the dice if we're going to get lucky. Here we go, left hand rod, seems to be sinking a little bit the float. The other one's sinking as well, because you've got to allow, when you shot a float down, for the weight. So those hard ones are obviously a lot denser and just pull the float down a tad. Well, maybe I'm fishing these wrong, boys. I'm just not getting any bites at all. I think I'll give them a fair test. If you're giving them, like, you're getting bites on a bait, and you know the fish are in the swim, and you change to another bait, you would expect something. In other words, they do not want these baits on this particular day. There's no doubt that these baits probably are all wonderful, wonderful baits. I don't know. Somebody out there will say, that's the best bait, that's the best bait. You should be catching fish hand over fist. I'm not. I could do no more than go back to the humble maggot. I shall change to the maggot. If I don't catch anything, I want to say I'll eat my hat. It's a very big hat. It's a bit like a dead beaver. Stop it. Stop it. It's a big hat. Right, I've gone back to maggots on the right, maggots on the left. We'll just see what comes. That's got a bunch, it's got 4 maggots on it. That's got 2 maggots on it. That one I believe needs one more shot on it. I might have to reshot that. On the other hand, it could be fish hitting it on the way down. So they're both in the water. We'll give it, I don't think it's going to take 15 minutes to be honest to get a bite. We'll give it a little while longer and see if we can't get something. Here we go, people. On the maggots, a roach. That's a nice little one. It shows you go straight on that bait change makes a difference. Well, about half a dozen perch, guys. All small ones, but they are down. They're not many rocho, but that's on maggots. Fish on, boys. Another nice roach on the maggots. So, you can see him there, nice looking fish. Again, good quality. I love that sort of bluey colour. Hopefully you can see that on their back. Oh, what is this fish? What is this fish, boys? You saw me hit into that one. That is a very, very biggish feeling fish. We're going to have to get this other rod and line out the way. I've no idea what this is. I say it's a carp, but there is absolutely... this might be a one-way ticket, I don't know. So they're very, very big carp, or it's foul hooked. Probably foul hooked. In which case I'll probably end up breaking her off. I'll take my time anyway. We might get lucky. This is going to be the only chance tonight. Take a look at it. Here it comes. Ah, there it goes. Oh, he's going to go around those lilies. Well, if he gets anywhere near these rushes in the side or those lilies from this match rod, I'm absolutely done. Would be nice, and the last knock is like this to come off with one fish, but I'm very, very doubtful I would get this fish. He's just taking a bit of line off me. That's the rod maxed out. Oh no. I don't want him going left. Yeah, he's going to do me in the rushes, I feel. Unless he planes out. He's twanged out, felt it twang. What the heck is this fish? There's the float. No, the harder I pull, he's going to go in the rushes and then I'm done. I feel it's one of those days. There he goes. He's in it, he's in it, he's in it. Buried. Buried. And there he goes. One-way ticket. All day long that one was. Got my float back, but I doubt I'll go the hook back. No. Well, it's dusk, got about 5-10 minutes. That's all I'm going to be able to see the float anymore, to be honest, people. Shame I lost that fish. Very shames are weird. It was either a very, very big fish or foul hook, one or the other. But once he got me in those rushes, that was a one-way ticket on a small rig. I'm rigged up again. Try them out there. I don't hold out much hopes. I think, goodness, I caught a few roach and perch, but you can see there that, well, the maggots by far outfish anything else I've been using. Different smells, different flavours, different shapes. No, they want plain, good old-fashioned, old-school red maggots. That was always the way in the winter. It's always one of our top baits. I might pick one more fish off, but if I don't, thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. I could mind to go back in that tackle shack and light the fire tomorrow. And I missed a bite as well. It's not looking good, is it? Well, there's a lot of roving there, guys, to get the first fish, but there you go. If I'd have stayed up the other end where we started, I might not have got this fish. It just shows the benefit of moving around. Not a big fish at all, it's a small one. I've missed another one. It might even have been the same. Oh, look at the other pike underneath him.
I missed it, where?
Laying underneath him.
Oh, I see him, I see him. Yeah,
I see him.
He's
still laying there. Good jumper as well. He's going down there. He's probably going to get eaten by the other one. That was amazing. He's come up, so that's the second fish there. So although I'm on the bait and nearly in the weed, I think we get this guy netted before he
gets eaten.
Before he gets eaten.
I definitely saw that other pike.
Saw the other one, yeah.
I think you need the polarised glasses to see him, but
he's only a little wee chappy.
We'll get him on the mat.
You know what? Roving for pike works for me. Here we go, first fish of the session. And there's another one down there. There's something about fishing for pike. The ultimate predator. When you get savage take like that, bam, with these jaws. Oh, it's exciting.